live stream or for watching the recording. Today is another Q&As, Czech immigration, Czech health insurance, Czech trade license, or Czech housing. So you can ask me anything. I'll be answering for the next 20 minutes. It's again a bit too late. I used to do it this late like a long time ago. Then I started doing it earlier, but today I'm back to the late ones. So we'll see how many people will join, and we'll see how long I will last as well, because this is usually my sleep time, 10 o'clock. So let's see. Let's see, and if there are some questions, I'll be happy to answer them for, let's say, the next 20 minutes. I probably don't want to do longer than that today, but 20 minutes should be fine. Grace Asimba, hello Jan, hi Grace, thank you for joining. If you have any questions, you'd be the first one, so please write them into the chat and I'll answer them. Meanwhile, I'll be singing for you like a chipmunk. Dorzila, hello sir, good evening. Hello Dorzila, thank you very much for joining. Also, I'm here for your questions, so type them into the chat and I will try these weird thingies here. Guys, I will be trying some whatever I can do with the picture here. Let's see. Oh, weird. Okay. That was weird. And of course, keep asking questions. I'll be playing just during the wait. And oh, this also makes my skin look younger. Oh, that's cute. Ooh. And this is how I look normally. Okay. Anyway, guys, Q&As live stream. If you have any questions, write them into the chat. Can be anything visa related, housing related, business related, health insurance related. Whatever you want to ask. Because if you don't ask any questions, I'll just go to sleep. Some of you might not have any questions and will be just watching me here like doing weird noises. That's fine as well, I don't mind. Harshal Raut. Hi sir, I got work permit from Czech and salary is 20,400, but it's low, I think, so I should join or not with this salary. First of all, 20,400 is not even the minimum salary allowed in the Czech Republic, so you cannot get this salary because that's below the minimum allowed. So your salary would have to be at least 20,800. 20,800 gross means something like 17-ish net. So unless you have accommodation paid by your employer completely, or you pay like 5,000 crowns for accommodation, I don't think that salary makes sense, because with 17,000 crowns, if you wanted to rent a normal apartment, you can hardly get a studio for 17, and then you'll have nothing left to eat or anything else. So probably not really a good situation. Dorzilak, stay with me on my contracts, and here 20,580, that's also below the required minimum, which is the 20,800. So that will most likely not even work for the immigration. Plus it will probably not work for you to live in the Czech Republic and to have somewhere to live and to eat something. Just saying. Grace Simba, my friend applied for renewal of her employee card and it's been 4 months. Is it normal? Yeah, unfortunately, that's very normal. The ministry says that's definitely not their priority, because you can stay here during the whole processing, you can travel, you can keep working, so they don't care about extensions of employee card. It's pretty simple agenda, but they just don't care. Oishik Chakraborty, hi, how are you, Jan? I'm good, thank you. Actually, after I submitted all my documents in the Czech embassy for my student visa, the ministry contacted my university to ask about it. Is it normal? Yeah, that's also normal. They ask you about the university and then they ask the university about you. Chamuki Bazuki, Sportian on live today. I came from self-defense classes, so I'm still in my self-defense outfit. Harshal Raut, yeah, it's 20,800 and accommodation and transport For 2 years, I got the rent agreement also with the papers. I mean, there are two perspectives. First, if you can ever use this, which I talk about every live stream I do, I say that don't pay anyone for work permits, because if you're from India, Sri Lanka, Nepal, Bangladesh, or Pakistan, doesn't matter what you have. If you have an employment contract, if you have a work permit, if you have accommodation, you will most likely never get an appointment at the Czech embassy, because there are 0 available appointments. So it doesn't matter if you have it or not, because you will never get an appointment. So that's one perspective. Second perspective, yeah, if your accommodation is free and your transportation to and from work, for example, is free, then 17,000 crowns might be like okay to just like buy some food and maybe like save a little bit, but definitely not. You will definitely not have like a reasonable life here for 17,000 crowns a month. Is there a chance that I will sign a new contract when I get there? Now, most likely the ministry will, even if you manage to apply, I don't know where you're from and if you have an appointment or if you can even get an appointment, as I was talking about that just seconds ago. But if you submit the application, the ministry will never approve it, because this is not legal. You cannot have a salary which is below the legal limit. So they will not approve your application before the contract is adjusted. I don't mean that they will deny it. What can potentially happen is that they will not even accept it at the embassy, because they will look into the contract and say, hey, 20,500 is below 20,800, so we will not accept the application. Or then the ministry would say, hey, we don't like this, and you have, I don't know, 2 weeks to correct the contract, otherwise we deny your application. So it's not the end of the world, but I would definitely recommend changing it before you even submit the application. King Potato. All hail the Potato King. Why are people interested in moving to the Czech Republic? You would need to ask the people, I think, but there are many things. Like, Czech Republic is actually a great country to live in, despite of what all the Czechs think. Because Czechs are generally very negative and like complain about everything. But Czech Republic is a very safe country. There are no like, of course, you can name some shootings, blah, 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 but there are basically no shootings. Of course, I've answered similar question, and then they're like, Czechs specifically in the comments everywhere, like, that's bullshit. But we basically have no natural disasters. We do have floods, but that's like the people who live by the river are in danger, and if you live by the river, I'm definitely not saying it's not like a tragedy and everything, but it's kind of not surprising that if you live by the river, that the river can somehow like go higher. The same as if you live next to like an active volcano, probably there is some risk. I'm not diminishing it, but it's not like we would have something completely unexpected, like earthquake that would destroy like half of the Czech Republic, or if we would have tornadoes that like destroy the whole cities here. We also sometimes have like tornadoes, but they destroy like 5 houses, then they take off the roof, and that's kind of it. Again, I'm not making fun of it or something, I'm just saying that we don't really have anything that serious here. We don't have any dangerous animals really, besides one viper and like sometimes a bear that comes from Slovakia. And we have pretty good like schooling system. We have pretty good like healthcare system. So we have a lot of work for people here generally. So there are plenty of reasons why someone would want to move here. Rosary, ahoj Rosary. Díky za sledování tady. Kanav Bensal, hi bro, hi Kanav, thank you for joining. Where are you from? Try to guess from what you've heard me talking. Try to guess where I'm from. Education Academy UDR. Hi, I'm back again. I have a gross salary of 32,000 crowns on my contract and accommodation by employer. I applied already in Dresden on 29th April, and the status changed to be in process from not found. Okay, that's good. That's good. It means actually that they just started working on your application, which is good. Dorsila, Philippines, applying from Morocco. Okay. I think there is a quota in Morocco. I don't know from top of my head, but I'm pretty sure there is, and that's not gonna be big. Harshal Raut, is there any future veterinary field in Czech? As I'm from the field, I'm 16 years of experience. Presently, I'm working as a pet care supervisor here in Kuwait. I can see it. I don't think personally, this is not like a business analysis, but personally, I think that there are still opportunities for vets, and especially good vets. Because people are getting more and more animals, people are feeling more and more lonely, and they just like spend their lives on TikTok. So they just need an animal to kind of feel alive. And then the animal gets sick, and you need a veterinary. So I think it's still good, especially if you approach it from a good way. It's kind of saturated as well, in my opinion, but I think it still will grow a bit, but hard to say for how long. So don't wait with the move. I will come to your language program. Can I work? Not really. Well, it depends. Depends if the Czech language course is accredited or not. Most of them are not, so you cannot work. If you go for the preparation course that also is combined with Czech language course, then you can potentially work, but it's kind of difficult to get one anyway. Lovely me, Ahoyan, I'm a transgender woman from Asia with a Czech boyfriend for 3 years. 3.5 years? Anyway. And we are planning to have marriage in August. Is this possible, although there is no same-sex marriage in your country? Okay, let me read that again. I'm a transgender woman from Asia with a Czech boyfriend for 3 years. We're planning to have marriage in August. Well, a couple things I would say. First, depends on where you want to get married. Because if Czech Republic does not allow same-sex marriage, but this would not be same-sex marriage. It also depends on what sex do you have in your passport. If your passport says female because it was changed, and then you were marrying a boy or like a male, then you should be fine. But even if the Czech Republic does not allow that, if you get married somewhere else, which country allows that, and then you like notarize the marriage certificate properly, like apostille or super legalization, or depending where you get married, then that's usually accepted in the Czech Republic as well. Yeah. Chamuki Bazuki, do you see immigration as a net positive to native Czechs? Not sure what you exactly mean as a net positive. So if you can elaborate a bit more on the question, I'll be happy to answer. Rosary, are you from the Czech Republic? Yes, ma'am, I am. King Potato, the floods sound like the river overflows. Like that isn't that bad. It depends. We have sometimes like big floods that destroy the whole village around the river. So that's always like a big, like sometimes people die there. Their homes are completely destroyed. So it's not like, I'm definitely not making fun of that or anything like that. It's just that's like one village which is by the river, you know? So that's kind of expected. It's not like that all the villages and all the cities all in the Czech Republic would be destroyed. It's just like couple villages or not even cities, they usually don't get really destroyed. It's usually just like smaller villages or some parts of cities that are on a river. So it's a tragedy for them, but if you look at it, like 10,000 people live in the Czech Republic, 10 million people live in the Czech Republic, and usually it's, I don't know, 10,000 people who get somehow affected by the flood. So it's 1.0% or something like that. So yeah, and my explanations might not be perfect today, but it's because it's too late. I'm usually asleep at this time already. Adhal, I apply Kuwait embassy appointment but not selected. Next one after 3 months. Before that I can take embassy appointment. You need to follow the procedures given by the embassy. In some countries it's just impossible or very almost close to impossible to get an appointment, which is why I always say if you're from Africa or if you're from some most Asian countries, let's say, then Czech Republic might not be the best place for you, and definitely don't pay anyone for like a work permit or employment contract before you actually verify that you will be able to at least submit the application. Shekhzar Haroon, I need health insurance. My age is 33, which is best. If you get in touch, just go to movetoprague.com and fill in any of the forms, or like there is also a contact part where you can like find our email address, all that. If you get in touch, my colleague will calculate all the different options for you. We work with all the insurance companies on the market and we get the best prices from them as well. So get in touch and we'll send you all the different prices so you can choose which one you want. Pratikir, how's Úřad práce portal for foreigners finding jobs in Czechia? I would say that's the only way. If you need kind of sponsorship for your employee card or a blue card or just for your immigration matters, then that's kind of the only option, because all the companies there advertising there, then they know how to deal with foreigners. Then it's just a question if they want you or not, but generally way higher chances than, for example, jobs CZ. Dorzilach, there is 5 applicants per 3 months already done with visa appearance and the status is being processed, but still I'm worried about that if I may get refused since the salary is just about 20,580. Well, probably not, as I mentioned, probably not denied right away. The ministry would send you generally some letters saying we don't like this and you have this amount of time to get it corrected. So potentially before they deny it, if it's the only problem there, because I don't know who's your employer and there might be other problems with your application as well. But if this is the only problem, they would generally send you a letter and give you some time to repair or correct the mistakes. Chase the dream, zdraví like health. Hello. Z632855 gay. What gay country are you from? Sounds Russian. Almost. Well, you've just made 2 mistakes only in your 2 sentences. I'm not gay and I'm not Russian. Nothing against these 2 groups of people, but neither of that is me. So try again. Popróbuj еще раз. Lovely meme. Civil marriage in Třinec Municipal Hall. Is it safe to live there as a transgender woman and to find a job? Třinec, civil marriage. Honestly, well, if you get officially either married or you get into registered partnership, that should be accepted. But if you have just a partner, if you're a partner of an EU citizen, so even if you don't get married, you can still get a residence permit. We call it a partnership visa. And so you don't even need to get married. So if you do anything, either like marriage or the registered partnership, you should be fine. But even if it doesn't work out, then you can apply for the partnership visa. It just will be a bit more complicated, but it's possible for sure. As for how is it safe to live there as a transgender woman? I'm not sure about Třinec, honestly. I don't think I've ever been there. In Prague, it's completely fine. I'm also not potentially the best person to ask. But in Prague, definitely the community of transgender or like all the different variations, let's say, like LGBT community and all that is pretty big and it's a very safe place to be. Really not sure about Třinec. I'm not saying that it's not safe. I just have no idea, honestly. But Prague definitely is completely fine. Chamuki Bazuki, do you see Czech people benefiting from immigration? How tough questions, guys, today. One question is if Czech people or Czech society is benefiting, another question is if the Czech society thinks they're benefiting, because there is one political group and one politician which is very against immigration, and his whole campaign is about that. And there are people who believe him and they hate foreigners. So that's about that. So definitely some people don't think that there is any advantage of having foreigners here. But obviously, yes, like all the major, like, okay, there are 1 million people, and out of that, my estimation would be like, well, 1 million foreigners, over 1 million foreigners. And out of that, my estimation is that 600,000 earn money here. Either they're employed or self-employed, and these 600,000 jobs would not be filled if they were not here. So even just this part of it, then also kind of broadening the horizons and maybe getting more things translated into English, all that, and learning English being more important. So it's also in schools, all that. So there are plenty of benefits of foreigners being in the Czech Republic, but then it's also kind of what kind of foreigners from what countries, because let's say big portion now is Ukrainians. Then the second biggest community is Slovaks, and Slovaks are not really like much different from Czechs. So it's kind of a complex question, but generally, obviously, yes, that's very important that foreigners are here. Question is if Czechs understand that or not. Dorzila, I paid 2,500 euros for the agency, not included the other documents that I personally process. Well, let's hope it will be worth it for you. Usually, I would say 99% of similar providers, let's say, I don't know how to say that, are scam, or even if they're not like scams per se, that they give you all the documents, all that, and you can actually submit the application, you might still get denied because it depends on the job and on the employer. Because if it's like a notoriously known like agency or something, then the ministry will deny that as well. I'm not scaring you. I don't know. Maybe you have like a legit job and everything is fine. It's just you will be one of the few people where it works out, if it works out. So of course, wish you the best. King Potato, sounds like you got scammed. Well, at least they applied. You know, most people here pay 2,500 euros and never even are able to apply because there are no available appointments. And the people who sell them the contracts for 2,500 euros know that, or if they don't know that, it might be even worse. But at least they were able to apply. So that's a first positive step. L-I-K, Hayan, hey, L-I-K. Lovely me, yes, register partnership. Pratikir, how to get a girl married in Czech as a foreigner in Czech. First, I think you need to get to know a Czech girl, then like you need to start dating, and then hopefully get married at some point. As for getting married, the process, that's pretty complicated because you need to have plenty of different documents, legalized, translated, so it's not really an easy task, but definitely find a real woman to marry. Maher El Omar, hello, I have a question. My extension application has been in process for 9 months. What do I do? Wait. No, you have basically 3 options. I talked about it in more details in a video. If you go to my channel somewhere, I still don't know where to click, but somewhere here. Then and you search for taking forever or taking long or something like that. I go there into details, but roughly you have 3 options. 1, wait, which we recommend in most cases. 9 months though is pretty long already. Second, you can send a polite letter just asking about the status of your application, which usually doesn't help anything, or like they don't even need to reply to you, but at least they have to put it into your file. So if the file is lost, they will know about that. If the file is just like sitting somewhere on the shelf and no one's doing anything about it, maybe that will remind them that the file is there. And the third option is the strongest. That's a strong legal thing. That's something called a complaint against inactivity, which means like a very strong letter. You basically complain to a special committee saying that the Asylum and Migration Policy Department of the Ministry of the Interior is not doing their job properly, and then they have to react. And they usually do react. Usually things start happening. You just don't know what things. So if your application is strong and you have all the documents properly prepared and everything's legal and everything's good, do it. If there are some things you're not really sure about, if you can get all the documents ready again in 2 weeks, because if you've been in process for 9 months, then all the documents are too old anyway, and the ministry might want new documents from you. So if you're ready to fight the ministry, send the complaint. Nur Hayati R. Hi, an application for family reunifications residence permit under employee card can be done by main applicant in Prague or should be done in home country where my family resides in case Malaysia. It must be done in the country of origin of the applicants. So in Malaysia. Kinared, hello Mr. Jan. I would like to ask about how many days it takes to my student visa application to be pending. I've done a video about that. It's one of the most popular videos on my YouTube. So if you filter the videos based on the watch amount, I don't know, whatever, views, that's the correct name, then you'll find it. The thing is that the legal deadlines don't really mean anything for the ministry. So student visa, student residence permit should be decided within 60 days after submission to the embassy. Sometimes it's 30 days, sometimes it's 3 years. Really, you never know. And I'm not really much exaggerating, of course. With 3 years I am, because then they would deny the application because there is no reason for you to study here if it was like 3 years in application. So they would rather deny it than wait that long. But it can really take anything from 30 days to 6 months, and then they deny it because it's been taken too long. So unfortunately, if there is a legal deadline, that doesn't mean that the ministry will honor it. LIK, hey Jan, just wanted to know, I would like to come to Czechia to teach English. Do I need to have both a business license and živno, or are they the same thing? I've been to Prague before too. This is one of the things. I will tell you one thing. I'll explain, okay? Let me see how many questions there are. There are still a couple questions, okay. Okay. The official name for trade license in Czech is živnostenské oprávnění. But because foreigners were not able to pronounce it all or even read it or like understand it, they shortened it to živno. And then the živno started appearing everywhere, and now you have like a živno visa, which is nothing. It means nothing at all in the immigration, but everyone talks about it like živno visa. I have my živno, and I have employee card and živno, and živno and my živno, and it became kind of confusing, and people don't really know what it is. So if you want to teach English in the Czech Republic, you have two options. You can teach as an employee, but that only applies in some specific cases, like if you teach at a public primary school, public high school, university, some like official pedagogical jobs, not just teacher in a language school somewhere. Language schools usually hire you as a freelancer, which means that they want you to have a local trade license, or so-called živno or živnostenské oprávnění. So the živno basically just refers to a trade license, to a registration you did to become a freelancer in the Czech Republic. But you cannot become a freelancer without having a visa. So you first get the trade license, the živno, you get some job offers, and then with these and accommodation and other documents, you apply for a long-term visa, which is usually with the business purpose of stay. So if you see somewhere a živno visa, that means a long-term visa based on the živno, based on the trade license, which means a business visa, freelance visa, self-employed visa, whatever we call it. Hopefully this is more clear. 01 Abdul Rahman Bello, can Nigerian get a job out there? Most likely not. Or if you could even get a job, you will hardly get a visa based on a job. So let's say nope. Lovely me, after the registration of our marriage in Trinidad, how to process my visa so I can move and live there. Thank you always for answering the questions. It would be best if you get in touch and I can explain everything in like one-to-one session, because it's kind of, it depends on many things. Depends on where are you from, what kind of visa do you have at the moment, when does it expire, all these kind of things. So ideally get in touch directly and I'll be happy to speak with you and answer. I cannot read the first part. D-Tarp, then diamond and a crown. Good evening, Mr. Yan. Just want to ask if you can recommend me a legit immigration consultant that can help me to get a job in Czech Republic. Currently, I'm working in Saudi Arabia. Thanks. Nope. Honestly, I don't think there are any legit job consultants that can get you a job in the Czech Republic. There might be, I'm not like saying there are no like good companies for that, but I don't know of any, and most likely you will just get scammed. So I definitely cannot recommend anyone for that. Can Nigerians get a job there? I answered that already. What do I need if I want to relocate? Probably choose a different country, because Czech Republic is not really easy to get a visa if you're from Africa. And if you're from most Asian countries, that will be very difficult as well. So I would probably choose a different country than the Czech Republic. Amazing. Good evening, sir. I just want to know which one will follow for probationary period. Is the date of biometrics in ministry or my contract when it will affect? Probation period starts from when you actually start working. So yeah, and then we could go into the question when you can actually start working, all that. But generally, from the first day of your work, the probation period starts. Maher Al Omar. Okay, let's do, because there are still new questions and it's been 32 minutes. I said 20. So LIK, that will be the last thing I react at, and before that Samson Castellino. But after these two, I'll not be answering anything. I'll go to sleep. I'm usually half an hour asleep this time already. So Maher El Omar, but I got the same letter from the twice saying the ministry have finished collecting the required documents in order to issue a decision. Well, if you received a letter that you can go check your file, that they have all the documents they require, that means you're denied. Yeah, that they will deny the application. You have just the last chance to do something about that. If they want to approve it, they don't send you any letter saying that they've collected all the documents. They just approve it. So if you received a letter saying that they collected all the documents, you can go check the file. That means you're gonna get denied. And wait, denied for taking too long. Yes, I've seen it happen, that the application was like in process for a student visa, was in process for like 7-8 months or something like that. And then the ministry denied the application, saying that there is no reason to approve it because your school year is almost gone. So I've seen that really. So that's the MOI. So my application gets rejected because they're not doing their job right. Yeah, basically you got that right. Yeah, I laugh at it because there is nothing else you can do, really. Pratikir, how can I learn Czech language easily? I would know how to answer a question, how can I learn Czech language, but the easily part, I don't know. No, honestly, guys, honestly. Of course, people are different. For someone, it's easier to learn the language, for someone not. But imagine, how old were you when you started speaking your language? You're I don't know. I have no kids and I have no idea how kids work, so I don't know when they start like talking and stuff. But I would estimate like 2 or 3 years of age. and then like at 5 or 6 you're kind of fluent and you can have like an adult conversation almost. So you started speaking your own language, however difficult, after 2 or 3 years. So don't tell me you cannot learn another language. It's just a question of how you learn. And I think that's the biggest problem of our like how people learn languages now in most situations, because you try to memorize the words and the grammar, and then you try to like somehow combine it, and it sucks. It's just stupid. But as a kid, how did you learn? You were just like bottle, bottle. And after like your parents said it a million times, you remembered that this was a bottle, and you could start like repeating it and using it in your like conversations. And then you were not learning grammar. You were just like repeating what your parents were saying, or people around you were saying, or what you were hearing in the TV or whatever. And this is how you learned, because that's potentially the natural way to learn. So I think if I would, or if I should answer the question how to learn easily, I would probably just answer it this way: that just do it as kids do it. So just start repeating. There are definitely schools that have this kind of approach, that you learn the way as kids do. So I'd probably go that way, because for me it sounds the most natural and the easiest way to learn. But of course that depends on what suits you. So Samson, that's the one before last. I will react to Samson Castellino. Hello Jan, I will be applying for a student visa. I'm an Indian citizen but a resident of UAE. So I plan for applying from UAE. Would that be an issue, or should I be applying from India itself? I would say apply where you can apply and where you can get an appointment. India, that's horror. So probably UAE might be easier, but you can only apply in UAE if you've been living there legally for more than 2 years. If yes, then try there, because it might be easier for you anyway than to go to India and try to get the appointment there and everything. But I would say apply wherever you can get an appointment. LIK, thank you so much for explaining, and I appreciate it. I'm happy to help. Mohammed, I'm sorry, I already announced that LIK will be the last one to answer today, but feel free to join the next time, and I'll be happy to answer your question next time, or comment under the video once it's uploaded, and I will be happy to answer in the comments if I manage to do so. So guys, now I really need to go to sleep. As you can hear, I don't know, I maybe will watch the video tomorrow and will laugh at myself because I must have said so many stupid things here, but I enjoyed that. Hopefully you did as well. And thank you guys for being here, and I will see you again Thursday, Monday, Thursday, Monday, until the end of the world. Good night, guys.